Okay, fine. So this was our crux of what we wanted to achieve yesterday. Like when we have data on cloud, can I get that copy of data on local machine? And vice versa, can I push my data from local machine or deploy the local machine component to the cloud environment? That is our Salesforce. So that we have seen using VS Code and Salesforce CLI. So that the thing which works in the background is Salesforce CLI, command line interface, which enables the capability to retrieve components from cloud to your local machine and deploy the same components or any additional components from your local machine to the cloud environment. Okay, this we have seen. Now we were talking about how it is beneficial when we need to replicate something in multiple environments, right? So one thing is we need to be able to connect to an environment. So how we can connect? Those who have tried yesterday to set up, they must have gone through this step, right? Authorize an org. With this we can connect to any org. Now with this code base or with these components, I can connect to different org as well. I can connect Prajakta's org, I can connect Komal's org, Malay's org, anyone's org I can connect as long as I have credential, right? So now quickly we will see. Now this is Rishi's org where I have connected.
Well, let's say you have for 1 hour or there are different instances.
Mhm.
For example, there are development instances and
Correct,
then
correct.
production. The org is same. So how do we connect to a particular instance?
Okay. So again, same thing. Let me explain you that. So what we are saying is, say this is your one instance, right? This is your another. I will call it as an environment. You can create as many as provided what type of license. Like we have seen uh, this, right? Developer, professional, enterprise, and unlimited. So based on this license, you will get various sandboxes that you can create from your main production org. So say you have created one dev org where you are developing, one QA org where your QAs will be testing, right? Then you say have UAT or SIT, various environments you can have, right? Generally UAT or SIT we want same as production, right? And then we have prod. So this every org will have a different credential. It's a separate box for us. So when I say this is your say environment, forget about this thing as of now, right? This is say Rishi's environment. So these two are different, having two different credentials. Same way, when we are working, we will have a different boxes. Like dev box is different, QA is different, UAT or SIT is different, and prod is different. So that way, when you connect with dev, you will have a different set of credentials. And when you want to move components from dev to QA, you will have a different set of credential where you will connect and push. So there are different ways to do that, right? One is your GitHub and Bitbucket, where you automate that with CI/CD, and then it will flow seamlessly. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
And this we will take a separate session because this is, there are so many things. This is just a high level, right? There are so many things involved, and we are going to cover that Git repository management as well. But it will be at the later point in time because we haven't started with the actual Apex development as of now. We'll cover that part as well. Okay. So now coming back to our context, right? So we go to this org. Let us see what are there in the schema builder. Now if you have already set up your VS Code and tried few things, I'll just try to show those who have not yet done. So say I have a car type field, its label is car type, right? Let me try changing that. Hope there is no hiccups today. So object car fields car type, right? So in car type, if label, if you see, if I want to change it to car type test, I'll save it here. My org is connected. Let me try to deploy. Or there is one more thing, diff file against org. So if I click on this, it will show what is the difference as compared to. So see, this is, if you see here, it says this is from the Salesforce org and this is the local copy. Those who have worked on say coding and checking the diff of the files again the original version, they might be able to relate. This is how we can check, okay, whatever I have changed, only that change is going. Is there any other change, right? So this shows I have just changed in my local copy the text as a test added here, right? I'll close it and I'll try to deploy this now. So you can have that habit every time checking the diff first, so that you do not override anyone else. As of today, this is your own environment, only you are working. But when it goes to actual project, multiple people will be working. So there might be chances of overwriting changes. So now this is car type. Let me reload. See, the change is happening, right? So same way, if you are changing something here and then if you retrieve, it will again change that. So if I want to re-change, put it back to test again, remove that test. Now again, if I want to bring it, what is the thumb rule? Always check a diff. So I'll check a diff against all. Now what it is saying, on local this is additional, on your org this is not there. So if I am fine, I want to bring this only, I want to get rid of this test. What I'll do, I'll just say retrieve. Okay, this is changed, right? So the point to note here is it's very easy, but if you want to do it component by component, it might be again little time taking. But the only benefit here is there is no manual intervention, it's all automated. Once you have a set of feeds, you just need to connect to some other org and deploy this, right? Now I want to deploy a different object itself. So say I go to my org where I have this error log object. Okay, I'll copy this. I'll put it in this location. So let me see, where is this? So if I pasted it here on my local, so I should be see. Now this object is coming here. Whereas if I go to the org, it might not be available there, right? First clear all. I'll get all custom objects. So there are only these two objects, right? The error log object is not available. Even if I go and search for error log, it should not be there, right? Error, there is no object, right? And this org is Rishi's org. Fine. So while working on this, why I am checking all these things is like we have to be very careful, right? Every time if we are doing some deployment or retrieval, we have to be careful. The intended changes are only we are pulling in or we are deploying. Now if I want to deploy this object, can I deploy a field first, or can I deploy a list view first, or should I deploy the object first? What should be the sequence? Can anyone tell me, like, what should be the sequence?
I think directly object.
Directly object. Okay, why is that so? What if I want to deploy the list view first?
In that object, fields and list view are already present. Then, if we
Hmm.
deploy the object, the fields and list view are automatically deployed. No?
No, my question, your answer is correct. I'm
Okay.
just challenging your answer to see like what is your understanding, right? So what I'm saying, what if I want to deploy the list view first? Can I do that?
I think no.
Answer is correct again. What is the logic behind that?
When we deployed that list view, it doesn't understand for what this list view is deployment.
It is encapsulated inside the object.
Correct, 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 correct.
Okay.
So you are to the point, right? Because the system doesn't know about this object, and I am saying I want to deploy this. So that's where I have put one example. I'll just put it here. So see, this is, say, a house, right? I want to build a house. So these are the things I just listed out, the components. Consider this as a component. I'm just trying to do it in layman terms, right? So it does not need you to be a technical person. So suppose I am a normal person, I want to build a house. I have this list of components: roof, foundation, door, wall, layout, window, and color. So what do you think from your standpoint? What will be the first thing I need to do to build the house? Can we sequence this? Help me to sequence this. What should be the first step?
Plan, plan or
First,
layout,
we need a plan or layout, right? Exactly. Then
walls,
directly walls.
form foundation,
Correct. Okay.
Foundation.
Then walls.
walls,
Then
Door.
door, window.
door, window. Now this sequence doesn't matter, right? Door, window, we can put
Yes,
anyway.
yeah.
What else?
Roof,
Roof and
color,
color we can do at the last.
last.
So why I gave this example, right? This to relate how the components are interdependent. What if I want to first have a window? Is it possible without a wall? You can put a window, right? Just be a
No.
think in a logical sense. Without, like, without foundation, can I have a roof directly? It makes it irrelevant, right? So this is all general. So don't think too much technical about the things. What I'm trying to tell you is be more logical and think in a simple way, right? How can I do this? Is it possible? If possible, then why? If not possible, then why? In both the cases, you have to ask a question to yourself, right? This will be a ideal way to think through, not only for this task, right? But this is overall anything, everything you do in your general life as well as in our Salesforce world. It's no different, right? Now, anyone who don't understand this, are you getting the point? How is the dependency is, identified? How we need to identify it? Now, you don't need me to tell you like what is the dependence. When you face the error, you will automatically realize, okay, now this is dependent on that. I need to do this first and then that. Suppose if I go and try to build a door, then I'll realize, okay, no, this is not possible without this first three steps. I need to do step by step. Okay. Now coming back to this, let's try to do. So again, let's try to do something weird. Now this object is not there, that we know. Let's see if I want to deploy this. What it is saying, this object is not found. Without this object, I cannot deploy this, right? So that is the way to understand how the dependencies are there. So I'll just go directly on the object and deploy. Now see how much time it took me. I just copied that folder, right clicked and deployed. With one click, I created that object. Now let's try to see if I am able to find this or I need to reload. See, the object is here. All the fields are here. List view is also deployed. Right, all the metadata related to that fields are also deployed. So which one is easier, creating it manually or creating it this way? Rishi, what do you think?
Created by this way.
This way is easy, right? If we have
Yes.
multiple times you need to replicate, just go and click. The effort will go in the first type only, that's it.
Huh.
Later on it's just the copying, copy paste kind of thing, right? And if you see this object, right, what I have done, I have put in a description. So whenever you are creating an object or any field, try to put a description so that you know why you created that field and what is the, you know. So suppose you developed this and you went away, some other developer comes in and he will try to see, okay, what is this field. So we should have a description here. Okay, this field will hold the error message that has come during exception or anything. So try to build that habit. Whatever things I am telling now, these are very small things, but this will have a very big impact, and this will show your, expertise, your understanding about like importance of small things, right? Okay, so now let's see something else. Any questions, queries about this?
No.
Have you understood the dependencies? So I'll ask one question, so maybe who can answer. So say I have opportunity product, or take a simple example, day to day life example. Faculty department. Okay, now in faculty object I have lookup with department. So Komal, you there, right?
Yes.
Okay, now try to answer this question. Okay, it's for this one is for you. So I have a object called faculty, which is having say faculty name, its salary, date of joining, uh, which subject that faculty takes, and the department that faculty belongs to. He may belongs to science, arts, commerce, any department, right? Now this department is lookup with this department object. Now this department object have properties like, okay, department ID, department name, department category, whatever it may be, right? So now if I want to migrate this data model to say some other org, from developer to QA or from Malay's org to Rishi's org, sequence wise, which one you will deploy first and why?
Faculty.
Okay, and why?
Because the data of department
Hmm?
is related to faculty.
Okay, it's related to faculty. See, think one more time. What is the question? If I want to migrate these two objects from one org to another org, what will be the sequence? So if you say faculty, I want to deploy first. Malay, what do you think? What will be the result? Will it deploy or not deploy?
Not
This
I
is
deploy.
think it won't, if
okay.
the department is not there, so
Correct. Why?
the
Because it is
dependency.
having dependency on department. Okay, Komal, try to understand. See, faculty, what I am saying, it is having lookup with department. So this faculty is related to this department, right? So if department is not there, how it will relate to it? Getting the point?
Department is object.
Yeah, department is the object, right? Both of these two are the object, different object. Correct?
So I think, can I say something?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so guys, I think we can understand in other way. Like department is a master table, like master table, the one which you don't having any dependency. Like
Or
for
we
example,
can say, yeah, or we can say this is the independent entity. It doesn't have
independent.
any, right? It is
Yeah,
independent. And this is a dependent because it has dependency over this object.
right. We can understand in other way something like there are two type of tables in the databases. Like one is the master one and one is the transaction one. The master table don't have any dependency, that are independent ones. So departments and other kind of subjects or color, we can consider all type of these things as a master table. We don't have any dependency. We can add new entities in that particular department tables, new records or new entity. And the faculty is the one, like these are the transaction table which are having multiple entities and having other dependency with the master table. So I think department table should be deploy first, and then the department table can be used in anywhere,
Correct.
not just in the faculty object. You can use it anywhere else as well when
Right.
you have the process.
So basically, in short, what is the thumb rule is like always start from the least dependency one or no dependency or independent one and then go to the dependent. That's how the flow should be, right? Because that's where you won't get any errors. Even if you try to deploy faculty, it will throw you an error because there is a dependency and it won't let you do that. But to identify those beforehand, we always do a exercise. We always do a exercise where we try to understand okay which one can go first as a sequence, right? So sequence is important to avoid the errors. So say we have object, right? On the object we have list views, we have tab, we have app. There are various things that we have, right? I'm just trying to list those out. Then if I try to deploy a tab without object, not possible. If I try to deploy a app which is referring to this object tab, I cannot do that independently. So the only independent entity here is object. If I deploy object, I can deploy any of this. So there are various components. There is no not only object and list views, right? There are various components. So if you see here, there are so many components, and this is just a small list. Yesterday we have downloaded one file right from package XML. So if you see, there is long list of components. These are in listing the individual members as well. But even if we talk about the components, there are so many things: global value set, flows. Like as you go forward in the course, right, you will see there are many things, and everything, almost everything, is available here. You can deal it with the VS Code. Okay. So next thing, what I am going to do is I will be sharing you this entire object data model along with its dependencies. I'll not just share this, but I'll share along with its dependencies. I'll share to one person, let him complete that, and that person has to list down the dependencies, whatever errors you are getting, because that will give you the learnings. And then we'll try to replicate with other person as well, and let's see who is getting what type of errors. But you have to be honest, right? You have to list down everything. Wherever you are facing challenge, list it down. How you know resolved it, that is also you need to note it down. So who want to take it up? I want volunteers to I'll be sharing these details, not only objects, but I'll share many other things wherever there is dependency. Who can do it? And you have to deploy this on your a new org. Don't directly use this, because we have the data dictionary where you want to create field one by one. That is also important, but this is just to understand you how you can create it once it is ready. So if you understand this activity, what you are going to do, all these objects here I'll be sharing with you. You have to deploy all those objects, and whatever error challenges you are getting, you have to list those out. And this is not straightforward, right? There are few other dependencies which I have introduced, so I'll share those dependency as well, but I want you to experience that errors and solving that errors. Anyone has any question, by the way, on this retrieve and deploy? Anything you want to ask? Have you understood the importance of package.xml? What are these? What is this custom object in technical term? It is one of the component here, right, in the Salesforce. Same ways, there are various components, and each component can have one or many members. So this is just categorizing. Okay, who want to do this? No one want to learn, or what? Or everyone want?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah,
Whatever objects we have, we need to put in this package or not?
that's not needed, right? This package is for what? Is to retrieve the things. So if you want to retrieve multiple things in one go, now say these are the multiple components, right, which are created as a part of folder.
Mm.
So if I want to get this object or a particular field, I will go and click on this particular and I will retrieve, right? But what if I want to get all those things in one go? Or what if I want, say there are 25 objects, out of those 10 objects I want in one go. So I need to select all those 10 objects manually and try right click and then get, or else easily I can just list those down in the package XML, and here with one click I can get it, right?
Mm.
So this is to make it easy for you. Okay, I'm still waiting for the volunteer names. Malay, you want to go ahead with this?
Yes, I can do. So for this, I have to create a new org, right?
Create a new
Because
object,
I've
yes.
already created those objects. So do we need another Gmail account for that?
No, your Gmail will
No.
remain same. You just need to
Okay.
change the username every time.
Username. Okay.
And you can
All right.
create
I'll
as
do.
many or you want. Now you can create multiple orgs as well with the same Gmail
Yeah.
ID.
Sure.
So we have seen one way using VS Code, migrating metadata, right? there is another way called unmanaged package. So Prajakta, do you want to take this one up, or Rishi, you want to take this one up? This I am not going to tell you this. You have to explore and tell me. And this is again easier than this one. It does not require any tool or anything. It is from within Salesforce you will get this.
Actually, I'm lagging behind, so I need some time to
Okay.
come up with this. Yes.
So anyone from batch one, Shubham, you want to take it up for exploring?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll share you the for this. This is all you have to Google it. And Shubham, have you created all those objects on your org, right? You must
Yes,
have
sir.
already. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, fine. So with this package, your package should contain all the objects, their list views, their fields, right? That you should be creating and then package. And if you share that link with say Pranay, he should be able to deploy that with one single click. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now the second thing was data load. I think you have already gone through that session where you did the data load activity. Sanjay, any question before we move to that? You got this one, right? This is just normal thing for us.
Yes, I got those things. I had a little doubt as I have not know from
You
the
don't have
beginning.
that org, right? Yeah, we will connect in the office regarding that.
I just yeah I just need a brief summary of all these things.
Right,
I
right. Yeah,
understand the packaging components, but I just need a brief summary like of things like how does it work.
right, right. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, we can talk through that. Yeah. Okay. So now the second thing is this one all related to metadata, and we have seen what is the metadata yesterday, right? Now we are talking about the actual data. So say same thing. Suppose I have a object. Navigate to that. So I'm just navigating to sales app, and I'll go to the goals object. Which one? Which org is this? Okay, this is Rishi's org. Okay, this is okay. This is our org. So let me see where are my goals. So see, this is my goals object where I have all those fields in the list view which I need. Okay. Now, as of today, there are say 28 records only. But in a real life scenario, there may be millions, billions of rows, right? And the problem start from there when you have a huge amount of data. So see, imagine this. This is a data for creating one record. What I need to do, I need to click on new, and when I click on new, I'll get a set of fields that I need to fill in, right? So I select. See the amount of time I am taking. I'm just trying to show you. Will business like to do this? and waste their time in doing this activity multiple times. Now precisely almost it will take a minute or so for me to create, right? Or say 30 seconds or 50 seconds for creating one record. Now when it comes to millions of record, how much time it will take? And then again coming back to our original question. Now I have to create all those records on the multiple different boxes. What route you want to take? Do you want to do it manually or you want to do it automation wise using some tool? What do you think, Shubham? Will you do it or suggest like advise to do it manually or you will do it using some tool?
So, with some tools, automation.
Automation. So what is the basic benefit of automation? Who can tell me?
So it saves time.
Exactly, saves time, right? The first thing is time saving. What is the other thing? What is the other big benefit of automation? Prajakta, Komal, what do you think? Apart from time saving, this is no doubt, there is no question around it, right? Time saving is a very important feature we get with automation. What is the other thing? As compared to manual, automation that gives us benefit. That is also equally important, right? We don't want to save time, but also we want what else?
There is a less chance of error while
Exactly. So accuracy, right? Accuracy, or you can say no errors, no manual intervention, no chance of error. Because we all know to err is human. हम लोगों ने सबने सुना है, right? But with automation, we avoid that because automation cannot make a mistake. Calculator will never make a mistake. No matter how big number you are giving it to the calculator, it will not make a mistake. But if I ask you to do that manually, there are chances of error, right? So these are the two main advantages why we look for whether it may be metadata or data migration. Now, simply what we want to do, suppose if I have, go to quickly this. Now I have this goals object. There are two tools, right? There is one called import wizard to import the data, other called data loader. So with data loader, we can simply import this. What all we need to do is we need to create a comma separated value CSV files, and we just need to use a tool. So with browser only, there is a tool called data loader IO, and you can log in with your Salesforce credentials. Prajakta, have you started using data loader tool or data import wizard?
Yeah, data import user, I already did that.
So you may want to try this. Okay, next. So
Okay.
let me show you. Now this is simply, and it has some tabs. Whether I want to import records, export records, right? So what I'll do, I'll try to import some records. So I have a CSV created already. So there are few records, right? So say 14 records are there, and if I want to import these records. So let me check if it is CSV or what. So this is Excel. What I'll do, I'll try to save it as a CSV file. Fine, let's try to import that. There is a menu, right? New task, import, export, delete, and this is showing the status. This one is for statuses. So earlier I tried something, it resulted in some success and error. So I'll show you how it gives both the files. So I want to import. I have connected with this org. Okay. I want to insert in which object, I can just put a name. So I want to import in goals object. Next. So which CSV you can see there are multiple options. So we are just using this upload CSV. Let me go to that data load. It is auto mapping those columns. So always try to put the labels same as your object, whatever we have in the org, right? So suppose I have this. So column mapping is important, and without that it won't import it successfully, right? So if I go to object manager, and most of you are already aware of data loader, right? So this is just a refresher, you can say. I think Salesforce is also saying it's a Sunday, why we are running session. Okay, so sometimes system behaves indifferently, right? So never panic about this. So we'll try again one more time. Gold. Okay, now this is opening. So if you see here, all these fields, right? Field labels. So try to keep these field labels, or you can even use API name so that it will do the auto mapping. Okay, and it won't have any errors as such. So now it has already mapped this source header with my Salesforce field, right? If I want to change, I can change. For lookup, it also gives the option. Okay, you want to map this field with which other object. So if you remember that example of faculty and department, so if you are loading data for faculty, you can even specify the ID of the department. You will need that, right? Otherwise it won't understand. So I'm just clicking next. Now there are multiple options using bulk API. So whenever if I am doing millions of billions of data, right, that times it take almost like a day or 2 days, 2 hours, 4 hours for loading the data itself, right? Whatever you are working with minimalistic data like 100, 500, 1000, 2000 rows. It is nothing when it comes to the actual org, right? So when you are dealing with a large amount of data, you will understand the importance of these options as well, right? Using bulk API or normal batch API with 200 records per request. We'll just go with the default for now. If I say save and run, what it is saying, this will alter your data, and yes, that's what we want, right? So we'll run this. So let's go and check whether it is done or not. Since this is online tool, that is taking a little delay. Yesterday's file it is showing me today. I'll just go and try to refresh. As of now, I have 29 because one I created manually. Now it is showing me 43 because I had 14 records in the Excel which I showed you, right? So these 14 records it created right now, and we can check that as well. So if I go and see input created date, how many maximum fields we have? Yesterday we saw that error, right?
16.
15, right? Again it is showing me that error. Okay, let me put it here. Save. So see, today's date it is showing for 14 records, 15 record because this I created manually, right? So this is the way you can import, and it's pretty straightforward. The only challenge comes when you have a data import for multiple objects. Now for importing goals data, there was a dependency on this sales manager, right? For that I had put one record ID because this is having lookup relationship. It has a dependency. So when you have say multiple objects, say suppose you have department and faculty. So again, coming back to the same question. Earlier it was related to metadata migration. Now even with data migration, which data you want to have first in the org? Is it department or faculty?
Department.
Exactly, right? Without department, faculty record you will be able to create, but you won't be able to have that relationship. And if it is master detail, as Sanjay pointed out, right, then you won't be able to create as such because in master detail that lookup or that reference is mandatory, right? If you lookup it will allow to create, but in master detail it is mandatory, so it won't even let you create that records. But this is again tricky. That's what I am telling you, right? What I am trying to tell you is when it comes to multiple object with dependencies, we have to sequence it properly, noting the dependencies. And where we can check the dependencies, you can go to the schema builder and you can see what is my data model, which is the list dependent. I'll do that first, and then the next and the next, right? That's way we do that. So see, now looking at this, which one you think is the independent one, which can go first? If I want to load the data, which object I will choose first out of these all?
In this, goal and error log are independent.
Correct, that can go independently, it has no dependencies. But when it comes to service center insurance company, what do you think, which one I need to deploy first?
Service center and insurance company need to be created first, and then service center insurance need to.
Correct. Because this is a junction object, right? This is dependent on this two. So I need to create this in any sequence, and then I have to go for this. So that's how you have to start thinking in logical way. What will be the sequence? And then I will tell you in another session. I'll try to come back with VLOOKUP. What is VLOOKUP in Excel, right? How it is useful for data migration. So something called VLOOKUP, and which is very important to it's very helpful to do many activities like we query using SQL or any other language. Same way we can have a VLOOKUP in Excel. So I want one of you to, Komal, will you be able to explore this feature? What is VLOOKUP? How we use it? So I'll just give you one sample. So say this is a department ID. Now looking at this data, what I want to do is here I want this IDs to be pulled. That's where we use VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is like it will search in this data, it will find okay, science. For science, what is the value 10? It will bring it here. This is just three rows. That's what you might feel okay, this is very childish, right? But when it comes to thousands and millions of rows, then it becomes very challenging doing it manually. And then we have various dependencies. So that time this process is very useful. Adding a formula called VLOOKUP. So Komal, you have to explore this option. Okay, with the help of VLOOKUP, you should be able to fetch the values.
Okay.
Okay, you understood this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we are dot on time. Any questions, queries? So if there are no questions, queries, I think batch two people can drop off. Okay, and there will be our regular sessions in the upcoming week at the same time, right? I have already shared that schedule. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday morning 9 to 10.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
thank you. Yeah. So, okay, batch one team. Let me just stop recording.